going about your normal daily activities. Maybe you've been seated at a desk for a whole bunch of time. Maybe you've been driving. Maybe you've just been doing whatever around your house. But we have to transition your body from all of that to, what do I need to do for however long to prepare my body to tolerate this thing that we're going to do called exercise?
Welcome to the Exercise is Health podcast, where we're talking about exercise, health, and the interconnectedness of the two. We are your hosts, Charlie
and Julie,
and we will be coming to you every single week from our studio, Muscle Activation Schaumburg. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Exercise is Health podcast. We are your hosts, Charlie
and Julie,
and we're coming to you from our studio, Muscle Activation Schaumburg in Schaumburg, Illinois. Now, at Muscle Activation Schaumburg, we believe your health is your most valuable asset. Your health is one of the biggest influencers of the quality and quantity of time that you have. And while there are many aspects of health, our expertise is exercise. Exercise has been proven time and again to not only improve your health, but also increase your longevity and improve your quality of life. And if you're looking for a way to get health-related information that is top quality, delivered by phenomenal experts in the Schaumburg area, then you need to check out the 2020 Schaumburg Health Summit. Julie, tell them more about this upcoming year's Schaumburg Health Summit.
Oh my gosh, guys. We have just announced the Schaumburg Health Summit 2020. We are so excited because this year's 2019 version was amazing. So we only know that 2020 will get better. So make sure go on Facebook and search and follow the Schaumburg Health Summit 2020 page. It's an event page that we created. We will be sharing it on the Muscle Activation Schaumburg page. And the date is April 4th, 2020. And right now we are accepting applications for speakers. The deadline is January 1st, 2020 at 8 a.m. We are accepting sponsors. So if you are a health-based company that would like to support us and promote your company at our event, please go on to the www.schaumburghealthsummit.com and click on the How to Sponsor tab or Apply to Sponsor tab. And if you'd like to purchase your ticket, you can do so on the Facebook event page, Schaumburg Health Summit 2020, or you can go to schaumburghealthsummit.com to get your ticket there. We are so excited. Stay tuned for more and more information, and we look forward to seeing you there.
Today, we are talking to you about an exercise-related topic. And this was a question that came up actually with one of our clients who asked us, hey, what's the best way that I should warm up before I work out? And warming up is often considered to be an essential part of the workout. It's something that we don't talk about a whole bunch, so we want to take this opportunity to frame different ways to think about your warm-up and different things to include with your warm-up for your workouts.
Now, before we jump into what you should be doing, it's important that in your brain, you kind of know the entire reason why you're warming up. And a warm-up, I want you to think of it as something that you do to prepare your body for exercise. Now, exercise, we're always talking about what you should do during your exercise, what it should be challenging, how you should be, executing each exercise. But you have to think, you're going about your normal daily activities. Maybe you've been seated at a desk for a whole bunch of time. Maybe you've been driving. Maybe you've just been doing whatever around your house. But we have to transition your body from all of that to, what do I need to do for however long to prepare my body to tolerate this thing that we're going to do called exercise, so that we can get all the other benefits that it requires. So when you are warming up, think of it as, number one, like this transition period from whatever you were doing to get your body to go where it's going to go, which is to do your exercise. But also, it's a preparation. It's getting the body prepared to do what you're going to do and to do it safely.
Yeah, I really like that idea of kind of preparing the body to go work out, because so often we talk with people and they're like, yeah, I just go and I work out, right? Like the workout is the thing that they're doing, but there's not that kind of preparation period, that kind of build up period during their workout. They're just like there, hit it and go. And, there's this whole idea of really short workouts, really high intensity workouts and all that. But there's a tremendous amount of benefit to taking some time at the beginning of your workout and really getting your body used to the movements that you're about to do. Get, your core temperature elevated, get you breathing a little bit harder, get your heart pumping a little bit faster before you go challenge your body in, more of an extreme manner, whether it's, more motion, more load, more speed, anything like that. So warming up is a super important part of working out from both a performance perspective and an injury prevention perspective. But a lot of times it's one of the easiest things to skip. I mean, look, it's hard enough getting people to work out on a consistent basis to begin with, let alone we're going to say, oh yeah, by the way, when you go to work out, we need to take an extra, 10, 15 minutes at the beginning to kind of do some things that don't really feel super challenging, might not feel like a workout, but then go do your workout after that. And people are like, 10, 15 minutes, like I'm trying to get in and out of the gym within 30. So, but what am I doing, for my workout then? But to the earlier points, like warming up is actually really necessary for a number of reasons, and we want to touch on those today.
So there are two types of warm-ups that we're going to talk about today and the benefits of each today. And the two are, the first being a general warm-up and the second being an exercise-specific warm-up. And Charlie and I use this all the time with our clients and with ourselves. So let's start with the first one, which is the general warm-up. The general warm-up is going to be something that kind of gets your body moving in a general way. It's not like specific to the exercise, which is what we'll get to later. A general warm-up would be something like, I got on the treadmill and started walking or jogging, or I hopped on the elliptical machine, or I did some jumping jacks or side steps or some easy jump roping. So something that is not very intense, but it starts to get your body moving. There are a few things you want to keep in mind while you're doing your general warm-up. Number one, it shouldn't be anything that you know will elicit injury. It should be something, I know I can do this. I know it's not going to be too intense. Because remember, you're starting from zero and you're trying to ramp up to, the level that you can handle your workout at. So the thing I always ask my clients when they're doing their general warm-up, I like to do it on the treadmill because it's easy to talk to people, but we can use the ladder, we can do other very light activities, and I'm always asking them, well, how's your body feeling today? Are any joints already talking to you? Are muscles starting to bother you already? Or because the nice thing with a general warm-up is that it's general. It's not specific. So if you're already feeling some kind of a symptom or an issue when you're not even specifically trying to target it, it's probably a good sign and a good indicator that there's something going on there and that maybe we should stay off of that today. So while my clients are warming up, I always say, hey, how you doing today? How are your body? How are your joints feeling? And sometimes they're like, my knee feels kind of weird while I'm warming up today. That's not the end of the world right there, but it's good information for us. And sometimes that knee thing goes away by the end of the warm-up. It just needed to get some kinks out from the day. And sometimes that knee thing gets worse through the warm-up. So it's a good mental note, and it's a good way for us to start gaining information on how the body's doing as we enter the workout.
As a general rule of thumb for this general part of the warm-up, you're wanting to think going from less to more. Okay, so less speed to more speed, less motion to more motion, less weight to more weight. And so with that in mind, we wouldn't necessarily recommend going in and trying to do things that accompany a large range of motion. So we might go for walking versus like sprinting, which is going to be a bigger range of motion. Okay. You want to do things that's, less weight. So, movements that feel relatively easy versus movements that feel relatively challenging. And then, less speed versus more speed. So like Julie said, hey, like walking on the treadmill versus running on the treadmill. But I think the other thing to keep in mind with this from a less motion to more motion is the thing that we wouldn't consider something to do with this is like going in and starting to stretch right away. That could be something where you throw in a lot of motion with that. And, oftentimes stretching is considered something to do for your warm up. But if we're looking at this rule of going from less to more, the thing that we're not trying to do is create a whole bunch of joint motion at the beginning. It's something that you can work into. So just kind of thinking about how you're structuring your warm up, starting from less and then progressing toward more for speed, for joint motion, and for the amount of load that you used.
That's a great point, Charlie. I love like the less to more and less to more in all the categories. Like How fast are you moving? How much motion are you having? How much intensity are you going at, right? We want to start with less, something that feels easy, and start building over the course of, 5 to 15 minutes. If you're feeling like you're freezing cold or you haven't worked out in a while, air towards that longer period of time, because we really want to prepare your body for movement. The outcome goal of a general warm-up is to get generally warm, get your body generally prepared, and have a general check-in, right? Are things feeling good today? Are things not feeling good today? I know sometimes when I've been really sleep deprived, I'll do my warm-up and I can already tell my body can't handle a lot, because I'll start feeling, a little bit more fatigued while I warm up, or a little lightheaded. So that's telling me, oh, my nervous system's not ready for a challenging workout today, or maybe a joint's not feeling. So this general warm-up is a great way to get generally started.
Yeah, I remember during college and then shortly after I graduated college, I would actually spend probably 15 to 20 minutes, going through a whole warm-up routine every time before I worked out. And I remember I had, a 3 or so minute jump rope routine that I do, and that would kind of start to get my heart rate up, get my, my blood moving, and get me breathing a little bit harder as part of my general warm-up. And then I'd have a whole bunch of different like hip motions, and different kind of like balancing stuff that I would do again as part of my general warm up that I would do. But I remember I would spend a lot of time warming up, before I would do lifts, before I would do plyometric workouts, before, basketball practice, before games, everything like that. And so the general warm up can incorporate a whole bunch of different things. Like you talked about, walking on the treadmill, jumping rope, using a rower machine, using a bike, anything like that from a cardiovascular standpoint. But it can also be just kind of general body movement, balancing stuff, hip exercises, things that you might deem more like body weight or functional type exercises. Those can often be thrown into more of a general warm-up category.
One thing I just thought of, Charlie, and I don't know why we didn't say this already, but another general warm-up activity that is very specific to your body is when we assign and create like muscle group specific isometrics.
Definitely.
So one thing that we do with a lot of our clients is they come in here, and pretty much everyone that's over the age of 40, 35 has muscle compensations. And it's really good to start incorporating exercise that prepare these, weaker areas for exercise. So if you'd like some that you could do, you definitely check out our 5-minute mobility check. And that's a great way to go ahead and get a list of things that you could be doing. That actually, we only check 6 motions. But if you want a full one, we can help you just create your warm-up just by starting our assessment process with our online virtual membership program. The first thing we do with people is the warm-up. So if you want just your warm-up, we can certainly help you with that. Anyways, that will help to make sure that you're addressing your compensations each time you're exercising. So I forgot about that, and I'm glad I remembered.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a great point. I think we were thinking maybe more traditional fitness industry, but that's definitely something that we throw in here at Muscle Activation Schaumburg, and we see a lot of benefit to doing that as well, and which kind of leads us into the next category of warm-up, which is going to be more of the exercise-specific warm-up.
Now, an exercise-specific warm-up is exactly what the name says. It's specific to the actual exercise you're doing. So remember how Charlie really mapped out how a general warm-up goes from less to more? We kind of use this same idea for exercise-specific warm-ups. So what you want to think about doing is whatever exercise you're about to do, start by doing that exercise with less weight and less motion are the 2 big ones. So when you do this, it's another opportunity for your body to not only get that area prepared for challenge, but also to talk to you, let you know if it can be prepared for challenge today, or if it's time to do it light on that area today.
Yeah, I would say if you're pressed for time with your workout, if there's one thing to include for your warm-up, I would say this would be it. So let's say you're like, hey, I know I need to get in and out of the gym within 20 minutes. I have these 5 exercises I'm going to do. Say, okay, go in and have your first set of each exercise, or just do like 5 reps of each exercise, but do a little bit less motion, a little bit less weight than you normally do, kind of get your body used to doing that exercise, and then you can up your intensity into your working weight and your working motion. But yeah, if there's one thing that you can do when you're looking to kind of condense your workout, or if you're short on time for your workout, definitely add in this kind of exercise exercise specific warm up.
So let me give you an example of how you could apply this. So let's talk about the knee extension. Knee extension machine is that one you sit on and then the pad goes on your shins and then you straighten out your knees. Now on the knee extension machine, I normally do 70 pounds, full range 70 pounds, and that's where I do it. So the way I would warm that up in an exercise specific warm up would be, I actually usually start around 30 pounds and I'll do my knee extension and I won't go all the way straight. I'll probably do like 3 there because 30 pounds for me is very easy. It's less than half of what I can do. And then I'll pop it up to about 40 pounds and I'll do 3 or 4 more. And then usually around here is when I start to explore that top range. So I'll start adding in full range while I'm still a little bit light on the weights. And then I'll add to 50, 60, and 70. I really like to kind of graduate like that. I like to start really light and add and add and add and add. Sometimes it's okay also to do, if you just did like 50 pounds and then you jump to 70 pounds because it's still less than what you are kind of what your working weight is. So that would be an example of how you could apply it. You could either like go really light and gradually go up, or you could use, one step, do like a 1-step difference from where you like to work.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest determining factors is like how somebody progresses with their warm up is kind of what the state of their body coming in, right? And so the warm up is a great time, like Julie was talking about earlier, to kind of explore how your body's feeling and explore how your body might be tolerating a certain motion or a certain exercise. And so, taking some time with your warm up to really feel like, okay, how are my joints moving? How are my muscles squeezing? Is anything feeling weird with this? And hey, if you hop on like Julie was talking about the knee extension, if you hop on the knee extension machine and your first set, you're like, I'm locked in, I am ready to go. Cool, get after it. All right. But if you're going through and you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm just not feeling like I'm making a great connection with my quads. Something feels maybe a little bit weird with my knee. Then take some time and take a little bit longer with your warm up and explore that. And one of the cool things that we often see here at Muscle Activation Schaumburg is when we don't rush to like doing our working weights right away, and because something's feeling a little bit weird, you take a little bit more time with your warm up, and all of a sudden your body just kind of gets used to doing that exercise a little bit more. It just needs a little bit more stimulation, and you can do that motion without it feeling weird anymore. So maybe you do your 30 pounds and you're like, oh, it feels pretty good, and then you get up to 50 and you're like, wow, you know what, I'm feeling a little bit of a weird kind of tug on my knee. And so maybe you do another set at 50 instead of going right to 70, and then after that second set at 50 you're like, okay, yeah, it's feeling a little bit better. You jump up to 60 and then you're like, okay, now I'm ready to go at 70. You just take a little bit extra time, kind of work through that little weird thing that your body's feeling, and then be mindful when you're doing your working sets of making sure that thing that you were experiencing doesn't creep back up. But the warm-ups are a really nice time to kind of explore your body and see how different exercises are feeling. It's
a great point, Charlie, that really taking your time to do these warm-ups, because I think it really allows, you to get the most out of your exercise, and not just like in some like mythical theory, of, I get more out of my workout because warm up is good. But I've seen, in a session, every session that I have, I think, so many people come here with joint issues or joint concerns at least. And just in having that time with the warm up, we go from, my knee's crunchy. My shoulder feels pinchy. And in, 2 minutes or less, just by allowing the body to adapt and get prepared for this weight, the body takes care of so much. But when we skip doing that, it's like the exercise is just known to us as feeling bad,
right.
And it's like, hey, well, let's warm up the muscles. And one of the biggest jobs of the muscles is it supports the joints. So the more that we get those muscles firing, prepared, the more that the joint will be supported, which number one allows you to get more of the out of the exercise because your body can tolerate it. And I think that's a huge piece. Plus, usually a lot of the joint issues kind of dissolve themselves, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I want to add a third thing to that is you're actually going to see that you're able to recover better from your exercise because your body's not like being harassed with this large ask right away of doing a lot of weight or a lot of motion or a lot of speed. It's able to kind of work, get the various systems up and running and better prepared for doing that exercise at the intensity that you're wanting to do it. And so then with that, it's going to be less detrimental to your body. Like you're saying, you're going to be able to get more from the exercise because your body's better prepared for it. And ultimately, that means you're going to be able to recover better from your exercise and flat out just get better results from your exercise because you're able to do more, your body's better prepared, it's able to tolerate it better. And so all of those things mean the time that you spend exercising, you're getting more from that time you're spending exercising just by taking, 3 to 5 minutes at the beginning of your workout, just feeling your muscles squeeze, feeling your joints move, and not going and trying to hit it hard right away.
So we talked about 2 different warm-up styles, both which have their own place and both that provide a lot of value. Oh, I was thinking, we do have a lot of personal trainers that listen to this podcast and a lot of our colleagues. And one of the great things that I love about the general warm-up, because it's not very specific, you're kind of just moving. We talked about doing less to more. It's a nice time as a personal trainer to check in with your client because as we've talked in previous podcasts, that a huge piece that helps trainers like us make decisions on what we'll do in that session is how the person's entering the workout. So it's a nice time, when a client doesn't think it's a big deal that they haven't eaten all day and you found out they haven't eaten all day, that we kind of manipulate our plans. Or you find out that they're overly stressed and only slept 3 hours. We want you leaving your workout doing better than when you came in. So it's a nice time as a trainer to check in with your client on things that they might not find to be a changer in workout plans, but is a big changer. So I just thought of that and I thought I'd throw that in. It's a nice thing. If you're working out by yourself, you wouldn't necessarily do that. Like, hello, Julie, how am I doing today?
Well, you can check in with yourself. Yeah.
You could, for sure. It's a nice time just to, do a little body scan and like, oh, yeah, I ate like a jerk today, so I shouldn't beat myself up,
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, use those 2 things. If we can help you out in any way with your warm-ups, if you're interested in doing our assessment and getting some detailed isometric warm-ups to help you prepare your body if you're struggling with some compensations, we certainly can do that. But certainly use these ideas, the general warm-up and the exercise-specific warm-up, to get a little bit more fine-tuned in preparing your body to get the most out of their workout.
So who do you know that needs to hear this episode? Who do you know that goes to the gym and doesn't spend any time warming up because they don't want to, quote unquote, waste their time warming up? Send this episode to them so they can hear the benefits that actually come from warming up and how they'll actually get more from their workouts, so get better results from their workouts by spending, 3 to 5, maybe 10 minutes at the beginning of their session warming up. And while you're online, if you wouldn't mind, head on over to iTunes and leave us a rating and review. It helps people find us when they're searching for podcasts on exercise, when they're searching for podcasts on health, because it helps us show up higher in those search results. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. We always appreciate it. Have a fantastic week, and we'll talk with you all next week.